Hi guys, Mike Ford here from Back to Balance. Today I'm going to talk to you about what stress is, how to understand stress, and we're going to go over some concepts today that aren't exactly from a neurology textbook or say a textbook on endocrinology or hormones. This is more about how to understand stress on a day-to-day level and how to start allocating resources into the opposite direction. So here I prepared for you a little board. What I've outlined here is the way that we look at the nervous system. We can see it distributed into two separate categories. One we call the sympathetic system, and that system is designed to take effect when you are in trouble, right? If you have to use energy for any reason, the sympathetic nervous system kicks in, and this is a nervous system that we use as a metaphor to describe, for example, if I'm walking along in the savannah as a primal man, and I see a lion, I can't just react all relaxed and chilled out, right? The body has to take control over this interaction from me and give me the exact set of responses I need to run away, basically. Now we call that the fight or flight system. Now that's all well and good. So in the savannah scenario, I see the lion, I start running away from it, right? I use energy to get away, and the inflammation that I get from this helps my energy use. So basically all of my blood goes and pumps into my muscles and into my extremities, into my joints. It prepares me for damage, it will bleed a lot if I get cut, and it's great, right? Perfect situation. I get instantly a sensation of fear, anxiety, aggression's in there as well if I want to fight whatever's threatening me. Excitement is another one that we associate with that. My memory is instantly taken away. Now this is really important. So for example, going into an exam, right, if I'm activating this system, and this is controlled by a hormone called adrenaline, if that adrenaline is being released from my kidneys, or just above my kidneys where my adrenal glands are, I will begin to have an increased heart rate, have an increased blood pressure, get that feeling of fear or anxiety or excitement. But what will happen is my brain will say, right, this is a traumatic experience, let's forget it, let's cut it out of our memory. And this is an experiment that's been done where they show that people that have been shouted at, for example, can't remember the faces of the people that were shouting at them. Very simple, but a good example. Now, this is all very appropriate if I've got a lion there and I can run away from it. Obviously not so great if I've got a lion in front of me all day and I'm just sitting there looking at it. Because if I'm not moving, if I'm not actively escaping this threat, if my threat is on my phone or on my email or at home or at work, then I'm always confronting what we will call to be our lion in this metaphor. So, that's one side of the nervous system and perfectly effective there. Now, what's supposed to happen then is I escape from my fear stimulus. I get back to my cave in this environment and I do what is necessary to heal from the damage done during that time. And that we call rest and repair. Now that's the parasympathetic nervous system. This is dominated by hormones like dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. You know, if you're interested in that, do look them up, they're really interesting. And we might do another video on it in the future, so keep an eye out for that. But rest and repair. So this is, I've got back to my cave and I need to do the fundamental functions. I need to no longer be in the state that is good for fighting the lion. I need to switch to a different state that is good for healing from that damage. So, what do? I sleep, right? Sleep is where we do all of our healing pretty much. This is obviously a very important part of repair, so key function. But remember, if I still have my lion there, I sleep very lightly. I'm constantly looking to check if it's there, right? I'm constantly waking up during the night to see if there's something I can do to escape from it. Keep that in mind, we'll talk about that later. Digestion, I mean, this is very clear. You know, if I try and run on a full stomach, bleh, throw up, no trouble, thanks body. Getting rid of the non-essential stuff. If you've ever tried to run with a full stomach, you'll know what I'm talking about. Healing, again, you don't have the resources to do the healing when you're doing the running, right? This is very demanding, and I want every bit of energy I have going towards the muscles that are going to take me away from the threat. As I get back home, those muscles don't have to do so much work, and energy in the body is freed up for doing other stuff. Healing, immune function. I mean, this is a perfect example would be when a teacher gets off time at term, they go on their holiday and almost all of them get ill, right? And it's not that they get ill then, they were ill before, but their body only has the resources to start creating those symptoms then. You know, finally, got something off the list, let's start fighting the other thing, right? And obviously sensations of love, empathy, contentment, well-being. I mean, empathy is a very good example of something that's actually very complex. The brain needs to do a lot of things to feel empathetic, to understand someone else's emotions and to feel them yourself. this is not something I can be doing when I'm confronting a lion, obviously. You know, it's not relevant to that circumstance. So here are our two sides, our fight or flight and our rest and repair. You know, this is a spectrum. You can go one direction or another. You can go to rest and repair, or you can go to fight or flight. Now, this ideally would be a very easy transition. I escape my fear, I get back home, I do my rest and repair, I go back out to go hunt or whatever it may be. That's not the life we live in at the moment. So what I'd like you to just think about is how many resources you're putting into this side of the equation. How many resources you're putting over here. Now if you're getting home from your hard day at work and you're watching a horror film or you're checking the news on your phone, you know, guess where you're putting your resources? In the same way, if you do meditation, yoga, gentle exercise, you get this, or any exercise actually, you get this release of endorphins afterwards, and they act to change the state over to here. Now I find that a lot of people are locked in at this side of the whole spectrum, right? They gain back 10%, 20% battery life, to put it again metaphorically, and they'll always just spend it straight away again, rather than spending the time recharging fully. Now if this feels like you, get in touch with your chiropractor, come see us, or even just leave a question in the comments, because this is something that I think, again, this is a generalisation of the picture, but it's useful to think about your life in these terms. If you feel like you're over here, you know, leave us a comment, let us know, and we'll get back to it as soon as possible. Anyway guys, that's it for me on stress. Have a lovely rest of the day, I'll see you next time.